This is the IT Business Management Agile and PPM Room Release Delta Deck recording. And this is a reference slide that includes all of the major features by release that you can share with your clients. The next 3 slides highlight all of the major features and enhancements for Roam. We're not going to go into details here, but we will go into the details for each one of these throughout the presentation, so they are in the deck for your reference. The first major feature that we're going to talk about is the Alignment Planner Workspace v2 that was released in the August store release for Roam. And if there's one thing you can take away from the Delta deck for ITBM, it would be the new Alignment Planner Workspace. 3 major new things have been added. The first is that roadmaps are now connected, meaning that we are connecting the different levels of planning within the organization. Next, roadmaps are now hybrid, meaning that they can have information that is traditional of demands and projects, as well as epics and other Agile items, such as safe and epic features. Finally, roadmaps are now able to track, meaning previously all of the information on the roadmap was for planning for the future, but now we can also see what has happened, and we can see the statuses for each one of these initiatives, for projects or demands, or even epics within a roadmap. The next item is non-monetary benefits. This is the first time that we're able to have on a demand or a project benefits that are not related to some type of currency or monetary amount. Previously, customers could track their revenue increases and cost reductions, but anything else related to customer satisfaction score or decrease in cycle time or any other measure could not be captured within ITBM without configuration. Now customers can do this out of the box. Customers can create both non-monetary and monetary benefits. They can relate those to each other, and they can also report on monetary and non-monetary benefits. The next item for us to cover is Universal Request Ideation. This allows us to use the platform functionality, Universal Request, and bring that as an idea into IT Business Management. Once that is created, it follows its regular workflow. Next, we're going to go ahead and talk about resource management enhancements. They include operational resource plans from the resource allocation workbench. And previously, when resource managers were creating these operational resource plans, they had to do it from a different UI. This is enabled through a system property, and there is an option for the resource manager to see operational plans within the resource allocation workbench. This enables them to be created through this dropdown, and we can also group these operational resource plans together, as well as filter for them. The next resource management enhancement is Reduced Resource Plan. In cases where a project manager or resource manager understands that a resource is needed for less amount of time than originally thought, this is where Reduced Resource Plan is then used. It used to take a lot of effort to reduce that resource plan, but now there's a very simple UI action to do this. Reduced Resource Plan can be done for confirmed and allocated resource plans. It can be done for the resource plan list, the resource plan form, or the resource allocation workbench. And finally, it can be done on resource plans with actuals, but that will control the date that can be changed. Basically, we won't reduce past where there's actuals on the resource plan. Next is resource plans date and adherence to project and demand dates. Previously, there was no control over resource plans' relationship to the project or demand dates. This is enabled through a system property, and once that's done, customers can control and be sure that their resource plans are entirely within the demand and project dates. Finally, the last resource management enhancement is resource calendar enhancements. Previously, holidays were only viewed within the weekly view, but now they can be viewed within the day and month view as well. The next ITBM feature for Roam is demand approved dates. These were added to make it much easier to plan demands within road mapping. We're using approved dates generally for projects as well, and we'll do the same for demands when demands are approved. We will then copy these approved dates over to the next project. Next is business stakeholder access to Agile. Previously, business stakeholders didn't have access to Agile information, but with the Roam release, now they do. The next enhancement is the Move Project functionality. Previously, if you went to move a project and the project was in progress, it would not allow you to move it, and is very tedious, and the project manager had to go in and update the task status. Now you can move a project even with those statuses, and you now have the choices as well as what you want to do with those tasks that have certain constraint types. This is something that can be enabled and doesn't have to be turned on, or you could use the functionality as it existed before if you wanted to. And the next is domain separation for ideation. Previously, if you associated an idea to a domain and converted it into a demand, it would not copy over that domain into the demand. But with Roam, it now does that. Thank you for watching the ITBM Roam Delta recording.